Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Lori from Nova Scotia checking in and probably going to provide some beauty and entertainment to your day. At least I hope so. This is a banner or a cloth that I found in a thrift store, full of sequences, full of color. Oh my goodness gracious. So when I saw it, I grabbed it and I put it on a slightly bigger black cloth just so it would fill a table. And today we're going to be playing with the Tarot of the Divine. And I've got the cards ready over there. There is a layout suggestion that I might try. And I've got some agar wood incense burning there just to add a little ambiance. But isn't this so darn colorful? And if I zoom in, you can see down here there's sequences all along. They're both absolutely gorgeous, even right down to the shoes. It is amazing the amount of work that went into this. And it is wonderful that I was able to scoop it up for just a couple bucks. And I was thinking about, I guess it's Giselle at the Mad Witch channel. And she would maybe understand that some cloths, some fabrics, they just call us. And this one has been sitting out for about a week. And it was like, what deck deserves to be on this beautiful cloth? And of course, I came up with the Divine Tarot, the Divine. I want to call it the Divine Tarot for some reason. Anyway, but I'm going to get a better viewpoint for us. And we're going to look through this beauty. Because, you know, on the cloth, it looks great. And after we finish, I'll show you the little layout that is suggested in the book that we can play with and have some fun. But right now, I'm just going to pause for a second. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can just stick this little guy here and we'll adjust. Get a real good view of the cards. And if I zoom in, I was zoomed in. Hello, Lori. Wake up. Okay, it's going to be a hot one in Nova Scotia. I don't know what your area is, but we're supposed to be heading into a real heat wave. So here you're seeing, and this is the box that goes with it, Tarot of the Divine. Nice box, hard box. Again, some saturation in the colors for Lori because she does like that. And it does have a color booklet. As you can see, little bits of information. And there is another book that goes with it. It's upstairs in my library right now. And it tells you more about each of the fables that are being brought in. Now, this is one of the spreads that I'm going to play with at the end and just arrange it a little bit differently. So that was the 5-card spread. And then in the back here, for those who want to know, those inquiring minds, copyright 2020 by Yoshitani. And it does say down here illustrations as well by Yoshitani. And it's a Clarkson Potter trademark on it, put out by Penguin. And the stock is probably one of the thicker stocks that I own, and it is linen. I don't know if it's going to pick that up. You can see some of it there. It is really thick, and the backs are kind of delightful too. That would look nice on an altar. So let's dig in and check out these cards. Now, there you have the Fool. And the colors, as I say, are pretty intense. Without going into the saga and the tales, we do have that cliff formation here. And the koi fish just bring in the extra burst of color. And she's almost as if she's coming out of the water herself there. It really is pretty. So I guess today, guys, we're doing pretty. Sorry, guys. Okay, now let's go on to number 1, the Magician. A very Alice-like looking picture with the little mice down here on the pumpkins. So that would be Cinderella, not Alice. There is our High Priestess. And it's neat that they brought the pillar effect in just by hanging these 2 lanterns here. And you do have the effect of a throne with the cushions all around her. A much more relaxed High Priestess. The Empress. Our Emperor. Very King Arthur looking with that sword. The Hierophant. The Lovers, which would be Beauty and the Beast. And it takes a bit to decipher some of this color and see the way it's wrapping around her. Beautiful background there. The Chariot. Harnessing the energy of the fish. Strength. Now again, it takes a little bit to see the lion's head. And then you also have the alligator here. But I love the tartan cloth that she's wearing. That's where dark and light really works well to bring that hermit and the energy of that together. It's wonderful. The Wheel of Fortune. And the story will tell you a little bit about this web here, because this has the idea of spider. Justice. And he stands on the yin and yang symbol. There is our Hanged Man. Or woman, there she is. Quite peaceful, making that beautiful shape within her hands and just chilling out. Again, when you pick these cards up, you sometimes think you've got 2. There is the Death card. I like how she's pulling back the veil between worlds. Temperance. The Devil. Look at the color in that tower. And it's just not one lightning bolt, but several. And it gets rather prickly down here. And this reminds me of almost Rapunzel, but also a dragon creature that has come up in there. So even if you don't know the tales and stories, you can just let your mind and your eyes wander. So that is the image that you see on the box. And I can really sense that I'm going to enjoy using these cards on this cloth. The Sun. Judgment. And the world. Isn't that fabulous? All right, so we'll go on to the coins, our possibilities, our seeds for the future. The Two of Coins. Our 3. 4. I think that was quite a story, that she was held captive and she really didn't like the situation she was in, but how to get out of it. 5. 7 of coins, lots of energy. It was neat that the coins are represented by all these sort of prickly vines that have been woven into that. 9, sharing the wealth. 'Very interesting picture. I'd have to get back to that story again. Reminds me of that image of all the dogs playing cards with this individual there as a dog. Our Page of Coins. The Knight. Our gorgeous Queen. Looks like Eve in the garden with the snake wrapping all around her. And the King. So if we look at the Queen and King, looks like I get the feeling of the responsibility of the world on this tortoise's back. Ace of Wands, very artistic and creative. By the way, if you've watched my other videos where I was painting an image to place my cards on some watercolor paper, I have just finished that one. Our 2. 4 of Wands. Can you see why I chose this deck for this cloth? It just screams, dig me. The 6. The 7. Messages. Arrows of love. Isn't that just wow? The 10. Even though it's a pretty deck, I think it has a lot of strength. Our Page. Wow, look at that Knight. Our Queen. And our King. They go really well together. Okay. Emotions, love, tenderness, the Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, our 3, dancing on lily pads, 4. I like how the color from his jacket comes down into here. There's a real push of color all around these cards. Our 4. And I do like the fact that she's standing in the water here. She's standing in her emotions and really experiencing it. 6. I'm just looking at my cards because I've seen a few people talk about it. There's a little bit of moisture, I guess, in the air at times. The humidity does affect these cards. Our 6. Aladdin. This is a different scene too for the 8 of Cups. I know she's got the same body posture, but the way this light hits this hillside, it's like she's walking on a thin path, treacherous. The 9 of Cups, our 10. Yeah, I was seeking sort of an Indian deck for this cloth, but I don't think I have to look. I think I'm quite happy. Our Page, the Knight, the Queen, totally immersed in her emotions and in the water, and the King. And our last suit here being the swords, I believe. Aces. That one is quite striking, the 2. 3. 4. That looks painful. 5. 6. I think this is a deck that you could use just as an oracle as well, if you didn't want to do spreads. And then having the larger expanded book will certainly help. That's a nice card. 9. 10. Now those swords really look more painful than most. Our Page. The Knight. Our Queen. She looks definitely the Queen of Swords. You don't think you're going to mess with her. And the King, he looks equally difficult. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second and shuffle and pick a card. Now for this card, I was sort of shuffling, didn't do it very long, but I was asking what the deck could bring to us when using it. So let's go to the Knight of Swords in our little book here. And it does say that this one is based on a fable from Malaysian. And the Knight of Swords is a strong and assertive warrior by the name of Hung Tua, an intelligent soldier. He's unafraid of leaping into battle and employing unconventional techniques to win. He is rebellious, loyal, and fierce. So I guess if we're going to be true and say, how does this affect us when we're reading? What will this deck bring to us when we're reading? I guess it'll bring you that sense of strength and that ability to, I guess, whatever issues you're working on, feel the energy of, I guess, going forth, going towards what you're working towards. And if you have to conquer it, to have the ability, the words to work through that situation, to talk about it. It speaks of intellect, bravery, confidence, and being action oriented. And I know some people look at the Knight of Swords as being angry. So I don't know how that works with the deck, but I would certainly say that's going to be a deck that's talkative. And it might encourage us to look at things from different perspectives and maybe also be quick to bring those words together and formulate our stories of whatever it is we're working on. But I'm going to pause for another sec because I want to put 5 cards out. Okay, I shuffled the cards, and I must say that because of the thickness of the cards, it was a little bit difficult to rifle shuffle. Not so bad this way, and because the deck does do some reversals, I did move some cards around. And so we're going to put this out there as a message for one of the people watching who stumbles onto this video and some ideas that might help them. Now keep in mind that I haven't read all the fables. I'm just winging it here. So the first card to turn up was the Two of Swords. So there's a situation that needs to be thought through very carefully, weighing both sides of it. And I think this does, just to interrupt a bit, that this really looks good on this cloth. I'm quite liking it. So there may be 2 things that somebody's working on, or there's a decision on which way to go, and that sort of has you stalled a bit. Both sides look pretty good, but you can't sit there forever. You can see there's fire all around you there, and that represents a lot of passion and energy. So your thoughts are consuming you a little bit right now, and there may be a decision that has to be made. One path or the other, or letting one idea sit on the back burner for a bit and run with it. Okay, now this spread that I'm working off of, number 1 represents the present. This is my number 2 here, the past. Okay, so we'll flip that one over. And that is the King of Coins. Now, to me, I instantly went towards thinking of the king as a mature man, and that he carries a lot of burdens because he feels the need to provide for others and look after others. So I wonder if the situation does involve a very strong male, a very protective male. Might be someone in the family who really cares deeply about people's lives. All right, and this card here, then 3, would be the current future. And that is the 5 of Swords. So there is going to be some difficulties. And there may be a strong male who's pushing for one direction, that he thinks he knows best. He holds all the swords, and it's like it doesn't matter which way I go, I don't think my voice will be heard. And what's the point of fighting this person? He seems a little bit overpowering. And then number 4 is unseen influences. Well, I always look at the Knight of Wands as a good ally, because there's a person who see things in a positive manner. There's always a solution. So the Knight of Wands is there to tell us that hang in there. There may be someone who can help me, and that I can have the courage to defend myself and go for what I want. Nice card. Okay, and 5 is the hidden potential. The High Priestess. This has something to teach you. Maybe you've been in this position before, and it's time to pick up that wand over here, face the difficulties, learn from it. And the High Priestess, she tends to keep some things to herself. She's a very knowledgeable woman, though. And I'm going to say that because it's a 2 as well, you're bringing a lot of what you know to the forefront. Being courageous, going after what you want, and you're basing it on knowledge that you've gained maybe in working with either one of these energies here. So see how that sits with you for the week, whoever you are that has stumbled in. Make your decision. Try not to be too fearful. Seize that that Knight of Wands energy and go after what you want. My words are not coming out right now. Okay, so I'm going to say have a great day. I think I've enjoyed this thoroughly, and I really like the way the colors are popping on this cloth. And whatever you guys are up to, I wish you all the best.